It's my great privilege to introduce you to our commencement speaker, Mr. Tyrik McKeiver, Aquinas class of 2001. Ty is the Chief of Staff in the New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio's Office for International Affairs. Ty oversees and coordinates institutional process, supports the organization's strategic direction, and directs special initiatives to further the Mayor's Office for International Affairs mission and vision. As Chief of Staff, Ty serves as a top-level advisor and chief strategist on political, programmatic, and operational initiatives, and oversees highly prioritized projects that connect New York City residents and agencies to the diplomatic and greater international community. Ty provides guidance to the Commissioner for International Affairs on external engagements and facilitates internal operations, manages the institution's strategic planning process, and also leads in the coordination of visibility initiatives that build a platform from which New York City promotes its goals for a more just, inclusive, and accessible society. Prior to joining the Mayor's Office of International Affairs, Ty was appointed by President Barack Obama to serve as the senior advisor to the Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources at the United States Department of State. There, Ty was responsible for overseeing a wide range of strategic management and budgetary priorities for foreign assistance, diplomatic missions around the world. He also served as a special assistant to the Senior Advisor for Outreach and Intergovernmental Affairs to the Assistant Secretary of the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. Ty has dedicated over 10 years of his career to public policy development, oversight and implementation in foreign policy and national security. He's worked in Congress for Senator Bill Nelson, Chairman of the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Homeland Security, at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Department of Commerce, and also in the private sector as a strategic management consultant. I'm proud to have been his teacher, to have worked with him in our theater program at Aquinas, and proud of his accomplishments since then. He went on from Aquinas to receive a Master of International Affairs from the School of International and Public Affairs at Columbia University, and received his Bachelor of Arts degree in International Relations from Florida International University in Miami. He and his siblings, Michael, class of 1993 from Aquinas, and Candace, class of 2008 from Aquinas, were very active student leaders, residents of North Greece, New York, and also members of our Mother of Sorrows parish. We're very fortunate to count Tyrik as one of our alumni, so please welcome Tyrik to the podium for our commencement address.
Good morning, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, President Daly, Principal Mancini, the Alumni Relations team, the Board of Trustees, and the entire selection committee for inviting me to be this year's graduation commencement speaker. And congratulations to the class of 2017. I'd also like to thank the Aquinas teachers, faculty, staff, administration, counselors, and coaches who encouraged and shaped these bright minds and who worked tirelessly to provide an educational foundation based in Catholic values and to the these graduates and who turned them who they are today. Thank you for putting in the extra effort, for lending a listening ear, and lending a helping hand inside and outside the classroom. Thank you for saying that extra prayer for them when they needed it most. I'd especially like to thank and give a huge thanks to the parents and guardians, grandparents, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, and family friends who sacrificed so much to get you to the finish line. You picked them up after rehearsal or practice. You packed their lunches. You put finishing touches on their projects and essays. You cheered them up. You cheered them on. You held their hand on their first days of school and wiped their tears after tough losses on the field. You bought them the latest and greatest Apple product because they just couldn't live without it. You got them the braces that they needed for their teeth to brighten their smiles. But most importantly, you believed in them, and you believed in the power of an education deeply rooted in Christian values and the long-lasting benefits it has in enriching the lives of not only your children, but your neighbors' children and other children around the world. Parents, today is your day too, and I'll ask the graduates to help me with a round of applause for all that you have done for them and will continue to do for them in the future. This is truly an honor of a lifetime, and I wouldn't be standing here today without the unconditional love and support of my own mother, Mama Mac, my older brother, Michael, and younger sister, Candace. Speaking before you is also a tremendous responsibility and a major milestone along my journey. And I realize that I'm the only thing standing between you and these diplomas. So I promise I'll be brief. This is something I truly never imagined I'd be doing, and to be frank, this is one of the most frightening and terrifying things I've ever had to do in my adult life. So thank you, I think. But in all honesty, this is an incredible opportunity, and it is my distinct pleasure to join you on such a momentous occasion. I'm so very proud to be back with my Aquinas family to help celebrate this impressive graduating class of 2017. You put in the hard work, you finished all your exams, and you turned in your final papers. You earned this diploma, and you should relish in this moment. So congratulations again. It's so great to be here, and I'm flooded with nostalgia to think that just 16 years ago, I wore the same maroon cap and gown and was seated on this stage in this auditorium where you're sitting right now. In my days at Aquinas, I played in the football team. I ran indoor and outdoor track, sang in the select choir, was on the student council, the multicultural club, the yearbook committee, was a peer minister, took AP classes, performed in the spring musicals, was on the homecoming court, and even played handbells in the Christmas concert. So I can relate to all of you and all of your experiences here. And that's what makes this moment so special for all of us. The Aquinas tradition of excellence is a bond that we share from generation to generation. And it's hard for me to believe that I may be almost twice your age, but I still remember the mad dash to the cafeteria during lunchtime. I remember the senior retreat and Spirit Week with our rambunctious mascot. I still wear my Aquinas ring daily because I do believe in the Latin words inscribed in the crest. I believe in whatever the Son of God has said. And now that you're graduating from this esteemed institution, we will forever share a bond, like getting jugs for not fully being shaven, or violating the strict dress code rules, and having the phrase goodness, discipline, and knowledge forever ingrained into our psyches. Now, I must admit, I am very fond of my high school experience at Aquinas, but as I prepared these remarks for today, and as I looked back at pictures from my own high school graduation, there are two things that I must confess. First, I cannot for the life of me remember who our commencement speaker was. And second, I can't remember a word that they said. It's true, I really don't. But do you know what I do remember from that day? I remember the classmates that were sitting beside me, and in front of me, and behind me. And I remember this overwhelming sense of accomplishment. It was extremely gratifying to have finally made it over this hurdle, and I felt blessed to have family proud of all that I had achieved thus far. You know what else I felt that day? Ready. I felt ready to take on whatever unknown problem or obstacle that was ahead of me. Why? Because that's what Aquinas transformed me to believe and instilled within me. Be prepared. Be disciplined. Be steadfast in your Christian faith and values, and be good to others along the way. So if you remember nothing else from what I say today, just be proud in knowing that Aquinas has trained you to be ready. And as you finish this chapter of life, you'll recognize that today's ceremony isn't called the conclusion ceremony, but it's called the commencement ceremony. Commencement, as defined, is the rise of, the beginning of, or the start to something. So let this not be just about finishing your high school chapter, but also about embarking upon a new one. As I said, I know what you're feeling today, because I was there once. And you're probably wondering, what's next? What's college and life outside of Aquinas have in store for me? And while I'm no expert, I do have some insights and experiences that might make your next phase of your life not so opaque. I've given some considerable thought. I've crowdsourced my friends on Facebook and done some extensive research and FaceTime with some of your colleagues and classmates to help me narrow down the major lessons that transform my life that are relevant to you today and for the journey that you are about to embark upon. So I landed on three main tenets that I want to share with you today. The first, stay woke. The second, stay humble. And third, stay connected. The first, stay woke. Woke, as many of you already know, is a term used to denote awareness and being plugged into the society and world around you. I lead with this simply because the majority of my career and passion since I graduated from Aquinas has been in the fields of diplomacy, public policy, and civic engagement. I've worked here in the U.S. and around the world for members of Congress, politicians and diplomats, and as an appointee in President Obama's administration. Looking back, during the first 2 weeks of classes during my freshman year of college at Florida International University, the tragic 9/11 terrorist attacks happened and forever changed the world. Not only did it forever change the United States' place in the world in terms of global stability and national security and how nations engaged with one another, it also had a profound effect on me personally and the way I became involved and came to understand global affairs and national security. Since those very, very early days on campus in Miami, while miles away from close friends and family, I chose to turn towards my fellow classmates who were from different states and from different countries to learn and make sense of it all together. The Aquinas way encourages us to live with open eyes, open hearts, open minds, and souls. Aquinas teaches us to embrace diversity, diversity of thought, diversity of religions and faiths, diversities of culture, diversity of languages. So I approached life with curiosity, not assumption, and was determined to find, through my studies and my exchanges with my fellow classmates, what role I wanted to play in my community, both at the local level and on the global stage. I can attest to the fact that lessons are learned both inside and outside the classroom, and by asking questions and engaging with fellow classmates, professors, and others. So don't limit yourself. Take advantage of the unorthodox classes in basket weaving or sculpting, internships that are outside of your major, and explore the world by studying abroad during your academic studies. Staying woke, what does it mean? It means living out our Christian values and standing up against injustices we witness. Staying woke means showing compassion for those struggling or being disenfranchised. Staying woke and being aware of our intersectionality means that you are a global citizen. You are an ally. You are an advocate. You are an activist. And you should do what is in your capacity to speak out against racism, environmental injustices and climate change, gender inequality, and human rights abuses against members of the LGBTQ community. The 21st century demands and challenges are varied and complex, but Aquinas has equipped you with the tools to make your voice heard during elections by exercising your right to vote, protest, or march on causes that you are passionate about. And Aquinas has prepared you to tackle these issues through inclusivity and loving your neighbor as yourself. So throughout your college life and beyond, push yourself to be woke. And as the infamous hymn reminds us, make me a channel of your peace. Where there is despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light, and where there is sadness, ever joy. The next, Be Humble, was inspired by a popular song by an artist known as Kendrick Lamar. For the purposes of this speech, I'm going to employ a little bit of artistic license. I'm going to switch up the lyrics a little bit and say, kneel down, be humble. Yes, you graduated from a top-rated school and are off to the big leagues of colleges and universities and other vocations, but we must remember that our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and for our own. As you might know, unexpected curveballs are thrown at us, and they teach us lessons about personal resilience. Some of these hardships in life happen during your college years, whether they be in receiving low grades in a class, a messy breakup, or a loss of a family member or friend. These are truly character-building experiences, and regardless of your position or level of success in life, I'll tell you from firsthand experience, don't be afraid to ask for help. No matter how bleak life can and will get, there's always a reason to push through. Every morning is a new opportunity to make a difference, no matter how extraordinary or small that might be. You are important and bring unique perspectives to those around you. It's during these times, these tough times, that when we kneel down, humbly reflect, and pray to God to find the strength to not only survive, but thrive through those trying times. Just remember that when times get tough, go back to your roots of prayer, and He will guide you through the storm. And always know that you are not alone, which leads me to my final theme. Stay connected to God, to your friends, and to your family in an authentic and genuine way. You grew up in the digital age where every bit of information is at your fingertips. Social media platforms were intended to make it easier for communication purposes and virtually sharing ideas globally. However, studies have shown that we are hyper-connected, often connecting with each other in a very inauthentic or detached way. In college, you'll have the opportunity to meet different people in your classes. So take the time to get to know them, hear and listen to their accents, listen to their tone, and read their body language. There's a lot that is miscommunicated when shared through the screen of a cell phone or laptop. So connect with each other over lattes or on the basketball court without the aids of technology. So I encourage you to, instead of hashtagging about your squad goals, really invest in true friendships. Instead of Snapchatting images that will disappear, why don't you FaceTime with your grandmother while you're at a new spot on campus that she hasn't seen before? Perhaps instead of taking selfies, think about how you can be more selfless. I promise that that extra effort to get to know someone, or those few extra moments to connect with a distant friend or relative, will be as good for them as it is for you. My last thought as I close my remarks is about the importance of cultivating a network of meaningful, purposeful, and supportive friendships. I have been #blessed to be surrounded by a friend group that I have had since my early days at Mother of Sorrows. It surprises many people how close I still am with my friends from Aquinas, despite my busy work schedule and traveling around the world and with other life occurrences. But the truth is, we come from the same place. We share the same values and respect each other's differences. We keep each other grounded, and we challenge one another when it fits. We also lift each other up, even when we're miles apart. Instilled in us is the sense that you are the company that you keep. And I'm so very fortunate for the lifelong friends that I've made, especially at Aquinas. I wish you everlasting friendships in those you've made in your years here and many more during your college career and beyond. Remember, stay woke, be humble, and stay connected to one another in the many years to come. That is the most certain way to ensure that of those striving, you'll be the one surviving, triumphant overall. Aquinas, class of 2017, you're ready to take on the world. Congratulations.